In this video, I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough of all the settings in the Hestia theme by Theme Aisle. Hestia is a one-page theme, which means that all the content for the site and for the business exists on that one page. You can add other pages, of course, but the theme is designed predominantly to have everything on one page, so it's nice and streamlined and easy for all your customers and visitors to find all your information. To get Hestia, click on Choose Plan. Pick one of these options. We'll go over this pricing table a little more at the end of this video. Once you've chosen one of these, you'll be able to download the files for this theme inside of your Theme Aisle account. Just click on the download button to the right of Hestia Pro, and then we can install it on one of our websites. We're going to install this on WP Speedify. This is what the website currently looks like. Nothing too spectacular. So let's make it look awesome with the Hestia theme. Let's go into the dashboard. And let's go to Appearance and then Themes. Click on Add Theme, click on Upload Theme. You can click on Choose File to find the Hestia theme files on your hard drive that we downloaded a moment ago from right here. Or you can drag and drop it from your browser downloads, which is what I'll do. Just find that a lot easier. Click on Install Now when you're ready. Then click on Activate. That's how quick and easy it is. Our license key is even activated automatically. Super easy. Click on Import Demo Content to get started as quickly as possible. There are a number of options available for the demo content. We have the Hestia Original, the Lawyer's Demo, the Industrial Demo, the Business Demo, and the Fitness Demo. And which one of these we choose is not super important in this case because the focus of this video is to show you all the tools that Hestia gives you to turn your creativity into an awesome website. So I'm just going to go with the original. Click on Import when I hover over that. Here it shows we're going to import content, customizer settings, and widgets. I'm okay with that. We have WooCommerce installed on the site currently, so this WooCommerce option is grayed out. It's also going to install WP Forms, OrbitFox, and OtterBlocks. I'm going to keep everything set here as it is, then click on Import. I'll fast forward as it works through these options, and I'll be back in just a minute. Didn't even get a chance to fast forward. That's how fast that was. Let's click on View Website to see what we have. So this already looks way better than what we had a moment ago for the home page. And remember, this theme is designed to be a one-page theme. So all the information about the business is going to be on one page. And there we are at the bottom of the demo content. And now for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you all the things you can tweak and customize with the Hestia theme inside of the WordPress customizer. So let's go into the dashboard and then go to Appearance and Customize. And this is where most of the customization for your Hestia theme is going to take place. And we're going to go through each of these options one by one so you can see how that affects your site and how you might want to use those options to create amazing websites for yourself and for your clients. Let's start with the appearance settings. Under Appearance, we have a bunch of different option areas. We're going to go through each one. General Settings allows you to change the sidebar location on pages and for the blog. We don't have any pages set up right now, but we have the blog page. If we click on Blog over here, we see a nicely laid out blog page with no sidebar, because that's the option we have selected. If we click here, it's going to put the sidebar on the left. You can customize all the widgets in here as well. I'll show you that in a little bit. Click on this one, the sidebar is going to be on the right. And the exact same thing will happen on pages if you set those two options, or just have no sidebar on pages. You can change the width of the sidebar. Usually a quarter is the standard, which is what it is, 25%. You can change the width of the container, which is what contains both the blog posts and the sidebar. The default settings are usually exactly what you need. You can have a boxed layout. If you uncheck this, you'll see what that means. So we see there's a bit of an outline here with a shadow on the sides. That's the boxed layout. If I uncheck this, there's no box and it's just full width. You can also disable front page sections by clicking here, but we'll have to go to the front page to see what that means. So let's go back to the front page. Each of these, where you hover and you see a pencil and an eyeball, that's a section. If I click on this, it's going to disable everything on the front page. I'm not sure why you want to do that, but it's a possibility. I'm going to keep this unchecked so we can actually see stuff on the front page. Next, we have typography. This allows you to choose the headings font family, the body font family, and font subsets. The headings are all of the things that look like titles. For example, Slick Material Design, Why Our Product is the Best, Meet Our Team, What Clients Say. These are all headings for those sections. You can change the font family by just scrolling in here and picking one. We just change the font right there. I'm going to go back to the default. For the body font family, you can change it just as easily. And the body font is things like this. This customer review here, this piece of text here on the About Us section, this piece of text here, that's the body font. If we change it, you'll see the font style change. Let's put it back to Arial Helvetica. The font subsets allows you to narrow down which type of characters are available with your font, thereby reducing the file size. Latin is what most people will use. If you know you don't use Latin, then you'll probably know which option you do choose. So pick the one you need, and it will include the characters that you need for your fonts. Local fonts hosting allows these fonts to be downloaded to your website and hosted on your website instead of calling out to Google or wherever the fonts are from every time a page is loaded. They'll just be coming from your server, which makes your site load faster. So I recommend you turn that on. And font size allows you to change the font size. Pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know which one affects what, just come in here and try it out. This first section is for posts and pages. So whatever I change here is not going to do anything on this page. Hit the circle arrow to reset any of these things. But the front page sections, that should adjust things on the front page. Here we're adjusting the title. And then if we scroll down, we can see the section title right there, the section subtitle, the content. The great thing about using the customizer, if you're not sure what something does, just change whatever the setting is and see what happens. And you always reset it really easily. And anytime you see this icon, Hestia has built in the ability to change things for different device types. If we click this and click on tablet, we could make the title a bit bigger. On mobile, make it a bit smaller so it all fits on one page. There we go. And then when we switch device types, of course, we see those settings applied by device type. So whenever you see that icon, make sure you click on it to see how it looks in different devices and adjust these settings accordingly. We also have menu sizing here. We only have a blog link right now, but if I change this or increase it, you'll see the blog link getting bigger and bigger. And whenever you're working through these sections and making adjustments, I recommend that periodically you press publish, just to make sure whatever changes you made are saved, because you don't want to have to go back and make all the changes again. Under colors, we're able to set all the different colors for all the different main areas on the website. They're described pretty clearly. This is the background color, which is back here. If I change this to, say, red, you see it became red. Put it back to default. The accent color is things like these buttons. Let's see what else. There's another button. If I change the accent color to, say, green, we see it changes there. And just like before, if you're not sure where some of these colors are, just make changes to them to see where the changes are made. The secondary color, I think, is this headline, but I'm not sure. No, it's not. But I see the names of these people changing as I change the color. So the secondary color is for the names of the people for the testimonials, plus other places too. For example, the blog titles is also the secondary color. And if you already know your brand colors, like say you know your brand color is green, not pink, just pick the green, that's your brand color, copy this hex code, and then change all the locations where we have that pink to be that brand color, and now to be more aligned to your brand. Super simple. So you go through each of these to adjust the colors as needed. The background image, right here we can select an image that is not this image up here. This is the header background. This background image is what's behind this boxed piece of content. If I click on select image, I'm going to choose this one because the background is very distinctive. We should be able to see it being applied. and we see the wood grain background right there. So this is not, as I said, the header. And you can choose different options for the way the image is applied under preset. If we choose fill screen, we see it gets a little blurry and the content scrolls over top. The background just stays still. Fit to screen, the content is not blurry, but it still doesn't move. In fact, we don't even see it on the right side anymore. Repeat, you can see the seam right there where the image starts over again and repeats. Very stark on the right-hand side where we have that leaf. And you can also choose custom settings, change the image position. You can make it the original size or any of the options we just discussed. Go through and pick the ones that you're happy with. In this case, the consequences aren't that dire because it's just a small section on the outside of the website. But if you have a narrow box for your content, this becomes more relevant. And to change the header background, you can click here to do that. I'm not going to do that right now because in just a minute or a few minutes, we're going to go into the header options where we have options for various headers across the entire site. So I'm going to wait till then because there's more information to talk about with headers than just this one button. I'm going to remove the background we have here and carry on with the appearance settings. Let's click on button. We see we have a button right here. So the changes we make to the button settings are going to apply to all the buttons. We have this one and we have this one right here. I think that's it for the home page. I'm not sure if this button will be affected because it's in a form. Let's give it a go. Let's adjust the border radius, and we do see this button is affected as well. It's turning into a pill shape as I increase the border radius. You can change the padding. This gives more space above and below for the left-hand box, and this box here is for left and right. And if you click this link, then they'll be adjusted at the same time to the same number. So adjust that to how you want it. I'm going to put it back to default, this one as well. And we have a hover effect of shadow. So when you hover over a button, you see a shadow appear. And you can also have color, which means when we hover over, the button gets a little bit darker. So it's just a different visual cue for hovering over a button. I'm going to put it back to shadow. I like it because it's nice and subtle. Although the color is subtle as well, but I prefer the shadow. Scroll to top allows us to add a scroll to top button. Click on this checkbox to add it. We see this little button appear right here. If I click on that, no matter where I am on the page, as long as I'm not at the very top, it's going to take us to the very top. And you see at the very top, that button's gone. When I start to scroll, a certain distance past the header, it appears. We can click it, back to the top. We can choose which side it'll appear on, left or right. For the type, we can have icon or we can have an image. You want to have the perfect size image for this, because if we choose any of these, for example, this hat, it's going to shrink it down to be inside of there and be super small, just like the icon is. If you see the icon, it's in the middle, super small. So you want the image to be quite small, and you have to understand that it's not going to be much bigger than these two chevrons here. So it's going to be right in the middle of this gray circle. It's not going to fill up the gray circle. If you want to stick with icons, you can change the icon by choosing any one of these. You can give it a label to top, maybe. Don't want to write too much in here. You can write a whole paragraph, and it gets really big. Even write top if you wanted, or just no label at all. I think that works. And the offset is when this will appear on scrolling. So right now at 0, it appears as soon as the navigation bar passes this headline, it appears. If I increase this value, it appears later. Got to keep on scrolling a little bit further, not much. But we can see when we go past the headline, it doesn't appear, but then it appears right there. So we can increase this as much as we want. There it is. I prefer to just leave it at default. You can also hide this button on mobile if you want. Let's switch to mobile device. Here's one. Check hide on mobile. Doesn't include tablets for mobile, but on a phone, it'll be gone. So hide on mobile unchecked, and there's the button. hide it, and it's gone. Then we can also change the style, which allows us to change the padding. You can keep increasing this padding amount, and you'll see the button keeps growing and growing. The icon size can be changed. And you can customize this for various devices, and the padding as well. And the border radius can be changed nice and easily. Let's put those back to default. Quite often the defaults are great. They're the perfect way to be. So if when in doubt, just stick with the defaults. And for colors, we can change the color of the icon. Let's make it blue. We can change the hover color. It's currently white. I'll keep it as white. Change the background color. Let's make it yellow. And the hover background, make it a little darker yellow. There we go. You can customize that to fit your brand or your client's brand. I'm going to put these back to default as well. And that takes us to the end of the appearance settings. Next up is front page sections. Here, we can define all the different sections that are on the page. Let's scroll to the very top again. We see big title section here with an open eyeball. If we click on that to close the eyeball, that section's gone. So you can show and hide sections by clicking the eyeball. I'm going to turn them all on so we can see all of the different sections. Here we see the feature section, this area right here. The Meet Our Team section. Next will be pricing. There it is right there. Next will be this ribbon. In this case, it's for a newsletter. Next up is testimonials. Next is the clients bar, which has not been set up. It's this one right here. This should be where you have a set of logos showing who your clients or past clients, current clients are. Another subscribe to our newsletter call to action. We have the blog section and the contact section. So these eyeballs, just turn them on and off. You can turn on and off any ones you want. If we click on this arrow, it takes us to further settings for each one. For the big title section, we can disable it. That's the same as clicking the eyeball. We can change the background to be an image, to be parallax, or be video. If it's an image, when you scroll, the image scrolls with the page. If it's parallax, it's still an image, but you're going to have the images moving at different speeds. So we have presets here, the blue sky and the Statue of Liberty. Let's publish this to see if we can have this appear. I have to refresh. There we go. There's the new section. Let's go back to where we were. Here we are. So if I move my mouse around, you can see that the Statue of Liberty is moving at a different pace in the sky as I move my cursor. As I scroll, it stays stationary, but as I move my cursor, they move like this. That's pretty cool. And you can do this with so many different things. All you need is a background layer and a foreground layer that make sense together. And there's lots of different ways to create this. This one you see here, they have the Statue of Liberty with a transparent background on its own, and they just found clouds in the sky. This was not a complete picture that was taken at some point. These are two different images. You can, however, use just one image. One of the ways you can do it is with Canva. I have the Pro version, so I'm able to use the background remover. I've got this puppy running, and I want to separate the puppy from the background. So I'm just going to right-click, press on Duplicate, make sure those images are lined up again. I think they're lined up here. Looks about right. And then I can press BG Remover, and it's going to remove the background behind the puppy. Now I can move the puppy around. That's awesome. But now I also need to remove the puppy from this background. Or I could just get grass or something. But if I wanted to keep these images together, I have to erase this puppy from this background. Let's move this one over. Luckily, Canva has those tools as well. Let's go to Edit. Let's go to Magic Eraser. Let's make the brush size really big. And we're just going to erase the puppy out of the background. Erase. And now with Canva's AI, it should remove the puppy, and it kind of blurred it a bit, but it looks fine. It's fine because this puppy is going to be, whoops, this puppy will be in the same spot. So you don't really notice the blurring too much. And now what I want to do is separate these. So let's duplicate the page. And I want to delete the puppy from this one and then delete the background from this one. So we have two separate images that used to be one image. Let's download this or download both of these. Now I have both pictures on my hard drive. I can head over into the big title section again. For the first layer, I'm going to put the background in there. I'm going to click on Change Image, and I'll upload puppy background, choose image, and then I will change the second layer to be the puppy. This time it seems to be updating in real time. I don't need to refresh or anything. So now we have the puppy. Oh, I didn't download that one transparent. Let's do that again. When I download from Canva, I have to press on transparent background. So I'll do this really quick, and then I'll re-upload the puppy with the transparent background. Let's change this image. Got our puppy transparent, and bada bing, bada boom. There's our puppy in its original background. Like I said, you can put any background back there that you wanted. And I use Canva for this. There's lots of different options for you to be able to cut out images. Just do a quick YouTube search. Find lots of tutorials to help you with that. Now, the last option you have up here is a video background. Let's select that. We have to upload an MP4 video, and it recommends dimensions of 2000 by 1500 pixels. We click this to upload a video. You can also enter a YouTube URL. That's the better one. If you upload a video, you're going to be using your host's bandwidth to play the video every time someone comes to your homepage. That can eat up a lot of bandwidth if you have a lot of visitors. So it's best to use YouTube's bandwidth and have the video loaded from there. The load time might be a little bit longer, but not much. But you're going to be saving a lot on bandwidth. So I'm going to find a YouTube video. I found this drone footage video. It's only 1 minute long. You want to not have videos that are hours and hours, so a minute or less. I was hoping to find one that was only 30 seconds or so, but I couldn't. So I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to copy the URL and paste it right in here. Click on publish. Don't have to, it's going to refresh. Want to publish anyway to save your work. But there we have a video in the background. How slick is that? Yeah, that looks good. All right, this first part makes me a little dizzy, so I'm going to go back to the parallax while we're doing the rest of this video. This doesn't make me dizzy at all. So we also have to be able to edit the headline, the subheadline, and the button. We do that over here under slider content. Open slide to open this area. The image that we see here, that's the image that we saw initially when we chose image from here. So we have, this is the URL for the image. Go back to the parallax, I like that one. And then we can change the button color, second button color. This is the title here. This is the subtitle. This is the button text and the link for the button text. This is the second button. Let's put that in there. And the link. You want to have an actual link here, not just a hashtag. But you can have two buttons side by side, and you change their colors up here. You can add a new slide, which is going to add these left and right arrows. Let's put an image on the second one. Let's do this one. Let's just say this is the second slide. And if we click on these arrows, we see the second slide come over top of our same image. Nice and smooth. It goes both ways. It works on tablets, phones, desktops, everything. If you want to delete the second slide, click on Delete Field. You can add as many slides as you want, although I don't recommend you add too many because your visitors aren't going to see them all. Maybe 3, maybe 4 at the most. But if you do it with just one, that'd be great. 1 or 2 would be awesome. There's one last set of settings for the slider that you might be interested in. If you go to the very top, click on the Extra tab. We have the ability to turn on and off autoplay. Autoplay being it scrolls through the different slides automatically. And we can also change the layout. We can have the content here on the right-hand side as a widget area. We can have this the default way and do the content on the right and on the left a widget area. The widget in this case could be a video, could be a map, something like that. Something interactive would usually go in this widget area. And to add a video, for example, all you have to do is click on here. It'll take you to the widget section for this area. Let's type in video, YouTube. Maybe we can take that same flying drone video we had before. Paste the URL in there, click on embed, and wait for it. Oh, let's go back. Let's disable autoplay. We want to stay just on this front one for now. There's our video right in there. That's how easy it is to add a widget to your title section homepage. We're going to cover those widget creation areas in a little more detail in just a minute, but I prefer this one right here. But the other options with the widgets definitely have a lot of applications, and they might be exactly what you need for your site or your client's site. So that's the big title section, the header area, completed. We can go through each one of these sections. Next is features. When we hover over features here, we can see a pencil appearing in multiple places. Where else? Right here. And that's it. If you click on these pencils, it's going to take us into this feature section to go to those settings directly to change that specific spot. We can also get there by clicking on this arrow, and we can customize this section as we see fit. Here's the title, the subtitle, the first feature. We can choose an icon, or we could also have an image or none. This is where we define which icon we want. You can choose any of them by just clicking on them. It'll change the icon. If you want to see a full list of all the icons available, go to this page. There's tons and tons. Go to the icons tab. There's 62,000 icons. Not all of them are free, however. If you click into any one of these design styles, click on the free tab, you'll see all the free ones in that design style. But the easiest way to do it is just use this area here. We can change the color right there. We change the text here, and we can add a link. And that's what we do with our feature section. If you want to add more, just click on Add New Feature. It will add more on a second row, and you're off to the races. So that's the featured section. The About section is this one right here. If we click on Edit Content, it's going to take us into the Gutenberg Builder, where we then build the content for the About section. And you can use Gutenberg patterns. Go to the About patterns. Only have one option. There's plugins that will extend how many patterns you have, including Auto Blocks, which is also made by the same creators as a Hestia theme. So you customize your About section here, save it, and it's going to appear right in here when I publish to save my work and then refresh. Scroll down. Here we have our About section. Looks pretty cool, actually. And then for the team section, click on the pencil to go to that section directly, or as we've been doing, go through front page sections, then team, and then we edit all the text and options here. This is the main title, main subtitle. We have 4 team members, and there's 4 drop downs here. We can add new ones with this button here. If we open the team member options, we have their image, their title, their subtitle, text, a link, and social icons. We can have more social icons than are listed here, or less. We use the Font Awesome icons for them, and we add a link to their page on that social media platform. Super simple to edit. As you can see, I'm not going to go through every single one of these options every single time, because it's all kind of the same and it works the same way. It's just that it's different content. But you get the idea of what we're doing here. On the pricing section, we can change the title and subtitle that you see here. We can change the first pricing package and all its content here. We can change the second pricing package and all its content here. Doesn't look like we can add more pricing packages, so you have to stick with 2 for this pricing page. For the ribbon, choose a background image, choose text, choose a button name, and link. This doesn't have to be a subscribe call to action. This could be a call to action to go read your blog, to give you a phone call, to book an appointment, to take a quiz. Could be all kinds of stuff that you have here. Just a simple call to action banner on your homepage. The What Clients Say or Testimonials section is right here. Same idea, title, subtitle. Edit testimonials with these drop downs and add more with this button here. There's a real focus on simplicity with this theme. You can do awesome stuff and it's simple to do. It's not hard for you to deliver what you want to deliver. For the client's content bar, this is where you'd add some client logos. At least I would add client logos here. I've added a couple logos. Make sure you check one at a time. Click on Insert into Post, and there's the logo for Orbit Fox. Let's add another one. There's a logo for Theme Aisle. They show up side by side. You might want to find the perfect logos that are the same height, or edit the logo images yourself just to shrink them down to the proper size. But here you have a list of clients that can go all the way across the screen. Super nice for social proof. Then we have the subscribe call to action right here. Change the background image, change the title and the subtitle. You can also connect this with Bravo, which is formerly called Send in Blue. If you install and activate, it'll help you install and activate the Bravo widget, which you can then just import Bravo code for the form, and you'll have a sign up form right here, which is pretty slick. For the blog, we have the blog title, subtitle, number of items to show, and which categories to show them from. If you command click or control click, it'll select multiple. We only have two. I'm just going to choose travel because the uncategorized one is this one here. Doesn't look good. Choose travel. I got a nice 3 blog posts here. Looks really good. Let's see if we have 6 blog posts on the site. No, I guess we only have 3. We change this to 2. We see it fits them just perfectly. And then if we go to contact, we're down at the contact page. Got our background image, title, subtitle, call to action, and we have the contact content, which is a WP Forms form. If you recall, when we installed Hestia and the demo content, it also installed WP Forms. This is the short code to create this form right here. I'll show you where to edit the form in just a minute. If we edit contact content, that's this information right here. Click on edit, pops up this little box here, and you can edit, can't scroll down to show you, but you can edit this text right up here, right in this little text box area. To edit the form in WP Forms, we're going to have to go back to the WordPress dashboard, and we see WP Forms right here. Click on that link or click on all forms when you hover over it. We see the form code right here, 4287, matches this code right here, 4287. So that's the form. Click on edit, and then you can edit the form. There are so many options for WP Forms. It takes a whole nother hour-long video to go through all of them, and those videos exist. So go to YouTube, check out WP Forms tutorials if you want to customize your WP form. But really, for a contact form, this is all you need. Name, email, subject, message. And that takes us to the end of the front page sections. Then we have header options. First option here is site identity, where we change this section up here. So we have only logo set. We can do logo with text to the right, text left, text bottom. Let's select the logo so we can see what that looks like. Let's put the Orbit Fox logo in there. Might be a little big, but hopefully it'll shrink it down to size. There it is. Looks pretty good. Let's put logo with text to the right. That's pretty sweet. Let's change the site title to Orbit Fox to match the logo. We can also add a tagline, best plugin ever. Tagline goes right there. We can also set a site icon. It'd be great if it was the same as the logo. This is normally 512 by 512 pixels, but this is a square image. So I think this will be close. It's 365 by 398. I think it will work. It's not letting me adjust anything here. Shows us a preview on the right. I think that's pretty good. And we see it updated right up there. It's a little small, but it's a customized site icon. So that's the end of the site identity options. The next option is the very top bar. This is turned off by default. So if I go back to the very top with our go to top button and turn on the very top bar, we see it up here. You can add a menu by choosing it from this drop down. If you don't see a menu that you want to have, click on create new menu. Let's call this very top menu. The location is very top bar menu. That's great. Now we can click on add items. And let's just add some custom links. You could add pages, you can add posts, you can add custom post types, categories, tags. I'm going to add custom links because I don't have any pages I want to add specifically. For the URLs, I also have hashtags. Call this one page 1, page 2, page 3. And we see our menu filling out right up there. Click on publish when we're happy with our work, because you want to save your work as you go. Going back to the header options, the very top bar, we can edit the widgets by clicking on this link right here. And this will allow us to add widgets. If we click on the plus here, these options might look familiar. These are the same as the Gutenberg blocks that you have inside the regular WordPress editor. I just want to add some text here. I'm going to add a phone number. I think that's a pretty relevant thing to have up at the top there. And if we click on this plus icon, we're integrated with more Gutenberg blocks and the Otterbox plugin, which is another plugin created by the creators of Hestia that give us all kinds of blocks that we can add anywhere, including the very top bar. It'll probably be hard to find a block that's skinny enough. For example, a map is going to be way too big to put up there. A flip card, too big. Accordion, too big. You might be able to shrink the size of some of them, but I would stick personally just to text. Text and a menu and keep it nice and clean. And then after the very top bar in the header options, we have the website header, which is this menu here. If I click on Enable Search in Menu, you'll see a little search magnifying glass appear. Enable Full Screen Menu. Now if I click on this hamburger icon, the menu goes full screen with the search bar there. I'm going to turn that off. I prefer the smaller menu. Transparent nav bar, uncheck that, and now we have our menu not transparent. If we scroll, it still follows us, the same as it did before, because sticky nav is turned on. Turn that off, and now it just stays at the top. It doesn't come with you. But I really like the effect of having the transparent nav bar and the sticky nav bar, so that it's transparent when it's up here so you can see the full effect of the header image. Then when you start scrolling, it changes to the white background and it comes with you. You can enable mobile menu icon customization, and normally the mobile menu is a hamburger icon like you see right here. But you can customize it using text, SVG, or HTML. And if we look on the mobile, we see the hamburger icon right there for the menu. We can also change the layout. If I click on this button here, it changes how the menu is laid out. Logo on top, links below. Here we have logo on the left, links below, and we can add more widgets right here, the same way we added widgets to the top bar. Click on this link to add those. Exact same process as before. I prefer this one, so I'm going to stick with that. Pages and posts header. This is for pages and posts. So if I click on blog, this is a blog page, we see we have in this little icon here, the white lines are the title, which in this case is blog, and then the blue is the background, which in this case is the pink. If I click on this one, it's going to change how those are displayed. So now it's just the pink at the top and the title's down here. Click on this one, the title is going to be at the top and that color is gone, but we can have an image in there. So let's set a header image, one we haven't used before. Let's do this one. Let's do that right there. That shows right there on top of the blog. It will always be there. This does not change when you add more posts. These change when you add more posts, but this will not. It's a permanent fixture right below blog. If I change this one, we have our header image up there now, and there it is again. So customize those as you see fit to make it look exactly how you want it. Let's go back to the home page. And next up, we have our footer options. Our footer is at the very bottom. Let's see if we can get there. Made it. Currently, just says Hestia, powered by WordPress. We can change the number of widget areas by just clicking. Let's keep it at 3. We can customize the footer menu by clicking here. Here we can choose the footer menu. Currently, we have it set to footer menu, but there's nothing in it. If I click on edit menu, we see there's nothing there. So let's add something. Add some custom links again. Footer link 1, followed by footer link 2, footer link 3. All right, now we can see our footer links appearing right down there. We can also edit the footer widgets by clicking here. And this is going to be the same type of widget area that we had at the very top bar. Here we have some more space though, so we can add bigger things, like with the Otterbox plugin, we can add a map. There's our map. That's pretty cool. And this is squished to one side because we have it set to have 3 footer widget areas. See if we can change that. We just have one. We've got the map really wide all the way across. If we have multiple, we can add more widgets to each spot. But I like this. That map all the way across looks pretty cool. So you can add any kind of widgets you want in there. And the footer credits is the text on the right-hand side. This is HTML. It's pretty easy to edit, but it can be intimidating if you're not familiar with it, all the different characters and things and quotes and stuff. But here we have a link tag, the word Hestia, closing link tag. So that'll be a link that goes to this URL. Then we have a powered by text. That's not a link. Then we have another link tag that opens the word WordPress and the link tag closes. So the word WordPress is also a link that goes to a different URL, which is this one here. That's a crash course on adding HTML tag URLs. It's not that scary. You can just make this plain text as well. Maybe you want to say something like all rights reserved worldwide and not have any links at all. It can just be plain text. We can also change the layout of the very bottom footer bar. Takes a minute for the map to load. So just choose these options to pick the layout you want, and then you can change the text color, background color, and widgets color. Super simple. Under blog settings, we have two options, blog and posts and pages. If we click on blog, we have a features post section, a blog settings section, an authors section, a subscribe section, metadata section. There's a lot going on. To see what this all means in its full effect, let's click on the blog. So first, for the categories, let's just choose travel. And here we have featured travel blog posts that look really cool. Featured image, and then the headline and the excerpt over top with a read more button. This is the featured post section. You can turn that off by just clicking disable section, or choose a category like I did here, and it puts the posts there. It's set to 3. As you publish more posts, it's going to put the most recent one right here in the top left. It'll bump the one in the top left to the top right. It'll bump the one in the top right to this long one down below. And the one that was here will be bumped off. So it's always going to be 3, and it's going to be 3 most recent posts. For the blog layout, let's turn this off to get the full effect. So we have a list of blog posts. Currently, the blog layout is set to be ordered like this, all stacked like that. We can have them alternate with this option here, and we can have them orderly either as a single column or as 2 columns or as 3 columns. You get the idea. 4 columns is probably a little too skinny with the sidebar on the side, but you could use the sidebar options that we had earlier in the video and just turn off the sidebar, and then you have more space if you want 4 columns. But I like this alternating one here. By default, it's set to show the categories first. You can also choose to display none or choose all. For the blog post content, you can choose an excerpt, which is this here, or content, which is the content of the post. I probably wouldn't be choosing that one. I like the excerpt. Makes it nice and clean. You can change the excerpt length right here. Make it longer, make it shorter. 40 was a pretty nice number relative to the size of the images. We can also have pagination. So if we have more posts and we get to the bottom, right around here where the sidebar ends, we would have numbers to go to different pages of posts. Or we can have infinite scroll. So we keep scrolling and it keeps loading more. That's the one I like. That's more like social media feeds that scroll infinitely. That's what people are used to these days. And the read more is this text right here and link, which takes you to the full blog post, and you can change the text right there. For the author section, you can also have team members appear on this blog post. If I click on her name, there she is right there. If I command click, it shows more people and more people. And these are the ones that are set in the teams section of the front page sections. This is where this information is being pulled in from. So whatever your settings are there, for the team section, it's going to pull them in right here. That's pretty slick. You can change the background image so it's not just a dark gray. You can have an image back there. I don't mind this dark gray though. The subscribe section is this one right here. You can customize it with these settings here. And the metadata section is, if we go up, is this right here. So it shows by, there's a short code specific to Hestia that inserts the name of the author, the published date, how long ago, and the updated date. So if the blog post is updated, there'll be a published date and a date it was updated. In the Hestia documentation, you'll find all the different shortcodes you can use here, but these ones are pretty solid. I don't know if you need any more than that. Then we have the posts and pages settings. If we click onto one of these posts and go to the page, this is it right here. We can, let's see if we can find the social sharing icons. There they are right there. Social sharing icons. We can turn those off by checking this box and they're gone. We can turn off display categories. That's gone. This post doesn't have any tags, but if there were tags, they'd be shown here beside the categories. You can turn them off with this toggle. You can also turn on and off related posts down here. Easy enough. And then we have these short codes again for the author information. And that's all the settings we have for the blog settings. Then we have the white label section where we can white label the Hestia theme to make it look like you developed it, or at least look like there wasn't a third party involved in this process. In this case, it would be ThemeIsle that created the theme for you. Click on white label settings. Check this box to enable white label. Check this box to hide the licensing information for the theme. Agency author can be you. The URL, add it here. You can hide the sites library. You can give the theme a different name, my agency's theme. Save changes, and then everything's going to be white labeled to you specifically. Pretty slick. And we have Hestia Pro. Click on here to go to the documentation. You'll find all the information you need. This video tutorial is pretty comprehensive, but it's near impossible to cover absolutely everything. So if there's something missing, something you're looking for, check out the documentation or contact ThemeIsle support and they'll help you out. For the header footer scripts, this is where you can add things like tracking pixels for Facebook, for other social media platforms, for Google. You can add Google Analytics or a different analytics platform. You'd paste that code in here. And that platform that you're pasting from is going to tell you to put it in the head section or put it at the end of the body section. And then that's where you put it, one of these two boxes. And that takes us to the end of the options specific to the Hestia theme. The menus, widgets, homepage settings, and additional CSS, those will be present for any theme. They're created by WordPress. They're customizable specific to the theme, but they're not specific Hestia options, if you get what I mean. Under menus, we can customize the menus. We saw this quite thoroughly throughout this video. For the widgets, we can add widgets to different areas. Remember we had that sidebar on the blog right over here, and I said I'd show you where to edit this later. This is it right here. Click on sidebar. We see basically a remake of our sidebar on the left-hand panel here. They look pretty identical. Click on the pencil icon to edit this specific one. You see it highlights it on the left. We can just delete it if you want. We can add more stuff. If you hover between the blocks and wait for the plus icon to appear, we can add Gutenberg blocks and the otter blocks that we saw earlier. We could add a countdown to your sidebar if you wanted. You can change the date that you're counting down to by clicking the three dots. Click on Show More Settings, change the date here, change lots of display options. Lots of customization available. And you can customize your sidebar just like that. Other widget places that we've seen throughout this video include the very top bar, the navigation bar, the big title section, footer 1. So many options to customize. And really easy to do. Just point and click, really. Under homepage settings, we have the ability to make the homepage our latest posts. So the website will essentially become a blog, or if a static page like we have right here. If we choose static page, we choose the front page from this list and the blog page. So we have a blog. If you don't want a blog, choose select, and that'll get rid of your blog. You won't have a blog on your WordPress site. And additional CSS allows you a place to add CSS code. You probably will not be doing this unless you have some development chops and know a little bit about CSS. But if you do know that stuff, just add the code right here. Super simple. That's applied site-wide. And that, in a nutshell, is all the settings inside of Hestia. Now that you know how it works in detail, all you have to do is apply your creativity to the power of the Hestia theme, and you can create almost anything. Anything that you or your clients want out of a website, you can create with this theme. So check it out today.